I'm very excited to call the next speaker to the stage, a good friend of mine, superstar cyber, Dr. Cyber, Mr. Robot himself. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call to the stage to talk about attack from the frontline, trends and counter strategies, SVP Cyber Defense at Sygnia and Chief Strategy Officer at the ICRC. ICRC is the organization that organizes this event. Please welcome to the stage, Yaniv Harel.
Hi, have I reached Sygnia?
Yes, good evening.
This is Jim Peterson, the CEO of Melantra Pharma. I've just received your contact information. Look, I think we're under a cyber attack. Our network is disconnected, our data appears to be encrypted. We really need to get our systems back up and running, but we're not sure how updated our backups are. How can we protect our network environment? Look, I'm not a technology expert, but I really need to be involved in this.
That's how it starts, exactly with such a call and with such an email, that suddenly the ransomware attackers or other one send you an email and explain about your problem right now. And later on, when we send the team, we realized that so many systems, servers and others were compromised in the relevant client organization. Later on, we even see that legit systems were the way to run the tools and to succeed, to put them over the right servers or whatever other systems. We have found even the point in which was the penetration point for the attackers to get to the organization. In this case, there were home routers that were the channel to get this access to many organizations, and later on, by this action that was out of a wide-scale target acquisition, the attackers found quite a very good access to the VPN of such a corporate. And this corporate, suddenly with this access, face this trouble of such a ransomware. These are part of the investigations efforts that were in this type of attack, but not as the only one. 4 different tracks, the teams that join and come to help the client suddenly jump into these efforts. One of them, on top of the investigation, is the crisis management. And this week we had a great event focused on crisis management. Another effort of the containment of the attack, how to defeat the attacker, how to decide what to do and what tools to use in order to stop this attack. And of course the recovery, that it's totally different, in which the client is within this industry or the other one. What is the business of the client? Is it a critical infrastructure or gaming or another business? And by that you can decide what should be the recovery effort. Then started to negotiate with the attacker. Also very important as a way to get some more time in order to decide what technical steps we can do. The recovery is very important. We said it before, and it differs between this business or the other one. And sometimes the teams succeed even to inject code to the attacker's tools, and by that to get the keys of the data or other relevant assets that are important to handle the attack. Later on, cleaning the network and sometimes finding that there are several more backdoors that are hidden within the network is very important, waiting to the same attacker to return back or to others to come later. At the end of the investigation, there is a significant understanding of what was all the timeline, what happened at the beginning and during all the process of this attack, and it helps to decide what to do next. These are type of the scenarios or what happens in such attacks. And in these things, we have the honor to help our clients in these type of coping relevant attacks. If you ask me what are the important takeaways from these things, so first, incident response is not something to plan it during the attack. You have to think about earlier to plan the way, to choose who will take any role and what will be the responsibilities, and to find the CISO, CIO, and the CEO sitting together during the attack and then planning how they will manage it, not the right time. These are things that should be planned earlier. The negotiations are something, it's not a hobby. This is something for the professionals. This is something that you should do without personal involvement. We see sometimes CEOs that they really believe that someone attacked them personally. It's not a personal attack. This is what the attackers do for business if they are part of the cybercrime. And the backups are very important to think about how we keep not just the data, but also the systems, the applications, and whatever we need to run our business. When we ask what are the relevant trends that we see in the attack arena, so we can say that on top of the ransomware that I've just mentioned, and we mentioned this a few times in this conference, the supply chain attacks is a huge domain that actually we use these words to mention 3 types of attacks. The first one are when people attacking a real physical supply chain with cyber channels, and we call it supply chain attack. Also, when people attack a software and a chain of trust that someone take updates and suddenly gets also part of the attack, like SolarWinds and things like this. And we haven't touched enough the part of products that we are not aware exactly what are the relevant components in these products. We have a progress in the attack as a service, and this is something also that we see as a progress in the attack industry, I would call. And we talk a lot about the cloud, but the fact that we build today, an architecture of multi-cloud work together with our on-prem creates kind of an architecture that actually the weakest link or the weakest point will decide or will make the entire system level of being able to be penetrated. When we talk about another trend is the IoT that actually extend our attack surface, the digital transformation race in which we so excited to put new platforms, new applications, new systems, etc. All of this is great, but sometimes turn us to put systems that are not well tested or well protected, and it's really helped the attackers in many ways. And also, how many times AI was mentioned here on this conference, and also our trend to put many AI systems comes also with the risk of security issues within these systems. So what can we do? So in several aspects, when we think about these trends and when we think about the progress in the attacker's business, so there is no any other way besides understanding our security posture. We have to see and to learn and to understand and to cover all our system and to understand what are the gaps when we analyze attacks. There is no attack that was only one reason of why the attack happens. Usually, we find that there were many reasons that could prevent this attack. So if we improve our security posture, if we make sure that we analyze our system, do the relevant assessment, and then improve our cyber systems, methodologies, and other things, we will definitely help that the attack or will not happen or will be with less damage for us. We should think with the attacker's perspective, not just how to defend our organization, but also how attacker would use or what tools, techniques, channels, or other things the attacker would use in order to attack our system. And we don't have to wait with this, but we can preemptively hunt attacks within our networks. If we will do it ourselves or with the relevant experts, we'll make sure, or at least higher the chances that we will find the right holes or the right gaps and not let the attackers to try them first. And almost the last thing is the fact that incident response is something that we can try to get prepared for. We can plan it, we can decide who will be our partners for such a case, what we should do before, and how we can get prepared or exercise in order to be fully prepared for this event if it comes. And finally, we should remember that cyber is a warfare, but with the right attitude, with the right way to get prepared, to invest in our security, and to plan how we'll act in case of emergency, we can win. Thank you very much.